Hi, welcome to another episode. Jerome here from the Bonsai Supply. You guys might recognize this tree. We did a video a couple months ago of this tree arriving from Thailand. Now it's time to show you guys a little update of this tree. So as you can see, it was allowed to grow freely for the last couple months, and that's the reason why we did that is to let the tree regain strength. It kind of looks like a salad right now. Doesn't look that attractive right now, but we did allow it to flower, which you can see here. Now the most appealing thing, at least for me, about the Sucatronum, the Thai Sucatronum, is the size of the flower. Now this is a Sucatronum flower. See how small that they are, and then this would be a regular desert rose flower. So you see it's just about 2 times the size, right? Now let me give you guys a 360 before we get started. That may have been a little more than a 360, but that's okay. So the first thing that I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through and remove all of the leaves and all of the flowers. And the reason why I do this is because underneath this we have a well ramified Adenium, and an Adenium loses its structure fairly quickly. So if I would let this tree continue to grow for the rest of the year, I would lose all of my ramification in here that the tree had before. So I'm going to go through, remove all the leaves, and then I'm going to cut back, and then I want to get more branches, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. Came out to 10,005 leaves. I counted all of them. No, I didn't. It's too much work. Oh, that was a lot of leaves. Okay, so it only took me about an hour to cut all of the leaves off. On an Adenium, I generally don't really pluck the leaves off because too much water comes out, so I just cut them really short to the trunk. Now, there's also an easier way to defoliate an Adenium. Now, one way could have been for me to put the tree to sleep, meaning I could have stopped watering the tree, and in about a month, the tree would have shed all the leaves, and I wouldn't have had to do any of this. But I want the tree to, I don't want to wait that long, because there's a lot of branches that I already see that have thickened up too much or that have grown into the wrong direction, and I want to correct that now. It's still in the middle of the summer, so I'm still going to get a full canopy out of this, and I can still, I can probably get still a lot more branches into my ramification here. Now, a couple reasons why I did this, right? Number one, I removed the foliage to get a better view into the canopy, and I see that some branches are growing in the wrong direction, right? So for instance, there's one in here that's growing into the tree versus out. When you style a bonsai, all the branches should go from the trunk out. Nothing should cross back in. There's a really bad one in here that I'm going to show you. Now I also defoliated this tree to bring more light into the canopy, and I want to start my ramification now. So that's why I trimmed everything back. I removed all of the leaves. Some of you may get a heart attack at this point and be like, oh my god, I liked it much better before. When you create bonsai, this step is very necessary. you have to make your trees look beautiful, and then you have to take them back, and now you can make them look beautiful again. A bonsai never looks beautiful all the time, and this is one of the mistakes that we see all the time, especially with beginners, that as soon as the tree starts to grow, they're like, oh, let me cut that off, let me cut that off, let me keep it in shape like that. When you do that, by doing that, you actually weaken the tree over time, and then in a couple of years, your tree is so weak you cannot do anything with it. So therefore, you always have to let your tree grow, you take it back, you let it grow, you take it back. All right. So this right here is the main trunk. This is the inside of the canopy, and this branch grows right back into the tree. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to cut this right off at the base. Now, as always, I'm going to leave just a little nub. I don't know if you can see that right there. Right there. I'm going to leave a little nub, and once this part has dried off, I'm going to come back in and then cut it back again. Okay. Now there's another really good case scenario right here, which is this one. This one right here. This one grows again back into the canopy. You see how these grow out, and this one just grows right back in. So I'm going to come back again here at the base. Some space for you guys to see this. And I'm going to cut it right off here. Now again, I'm going to leave this cut until it dries up, and then I'm going to come back and clean it up some more. Now what I'm going to do with these little pieces here, I'm actually going to let them dry out in sun until in the shade, I'm sorry, until I can see this callus over, and then I'm going to plant them. I'm going to wait another week, and then I'm going to start watering, and then this will grow me a brand new tree. So another thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce this end a little bit. The canopy is very uneven. This is beautifully still tied into the canopy, but in this part it's starting to get really strong, and it's starting to take off into its own very separate directions. I'm going to take this back a little bit. So the way that I'm going to trim this side back here is by, if you look really close here in the green here, this is all fresh growth. I don't have any buds in here. Those are the eyes that I was talking about in the last Adenium video, where all the buds are. So I'm going to go to about here where the buds are getting closer, and I'm going to trim it right off here. And now by doing this, I'm creating a much denser foliage on this side of the tree. So I actually have to do something a little different here. Do you see the bottom branches here? These are being completely shaded out by these big bulky branches on top here. So I'm just going to go in here, and I'm just going to trim this back and make this down here the main branch. Now, as this one is going to start to grow, this will heal over, and I can come back and trim this up a little nicer. And then this will be the new set of branches right here. Here we are. So I'm going in here and I'm cutting back all the tips because I want the ramification to stay in here. Now I left the tips on all the branches because some branches I might want to let them grow out a little more. So therefore I always leave the tips. If you want the branch to grow more, leave the tip, otherwise cut it off if you want more branches right. Alright, so this branch in here, this one right here, this one is actually being shaded out by the top here, so this will never develop into anything good, so I'm just gonna cut it out. When branches are being shaded out like that, you should always just take them out, because they will die off eventually anyways, and then it's just wasted energy if you let them die versus taking them off and then doing it the correct way, so that all the branches get sunlight, so therefore you don't have to waste any energy. So now the same thing that I'm going to do as always, I'm not going to water this tree for a couple days now, so that all the cuts can now completely dry. And actually, before I started trimming this tree at all, I didn't water it for 3 days. That's just to dry out the tree. And now that I trimmed it all back, I'm going to go ahead and wait a couple days to then water the first time. So I'm probably going to wait like 4 to 5 days. And I'm going to water for the very first time. And then I'm going to start again by going only once a week, then every 3 days, and then once it really starts to get going, I'm going to start to water every day. Now I took the canopy back drastically, but at the same time, when the salad, I like to call it salad, when all the foliage was on, it looked so overpoweringly big, which made this look so much smaller. So what I'm trying to do is shrink the canopy more and have a really dense ramification in here, and then make sure that this space is always much bigger. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching as always. Please leave your comments below. I would love to hear what you have to say about this Adenium. And as always, if you have any questions, please let us know, and we will make sure to respond to those questions, of course. This is it for now. See you guys next time.